For our United Way Spotlight of the Week, I'm joined by Emily Hack, Manager of Youth Services at the Kingston Youth Shelter. Welcome, Emily. Good to talk to you. So you have had a challenging year. What are some of the issues you've had to deal with?
Yes, thanks, Donna. We have had quite the challenging year. I think the biggest thing for us is most services during COVID have actually had to reduce their capacity. Several shelters had to cut their capacity in half or maybe even in thirds, whereas we relocated at the beginning of the pandemic. So the youth that we're servicing has actually increased. Our capacity at our emergency shelter has gone from 15 to 19. So while the alternative services that they access have been reduced, have closed, as well as our funding has been cut a little bit, we are actually servicing more youth than we ever have before. So that has definitely been a challenge. They have been amazing. The youth are great, but it's definitely hard for them too to be in lockdown and not having as many things open as they had before.
It's been a tough year for all of us, and I can imagine younger people used to being way more active. And so youth is defined as ages what to what?
Yeah, so we serve youth age 16 to 24.
And who are these people? What brings them to your doorstep?
Mhm. So youth can be homeless for a variety of reasons. One reason we see quite often is family conflict. So a lot of times youth will have conflict with their parents, with siblings, or whoever they are living with, and that leads to them being kicked out of the house, them leaving the house. So we actually have a family mediator worker, Vivian, who is funded through the United Way, and they work with youth and their families to try and resolve any conflict that might be preventing them from returning home or might have them at risk of being homeless. So Vivian right now actually is working with youth under the age 16 to 24 range. She is working with some 13, 14, 15-year-olds right now. We're hoping that we can prevent them from entering the shelter system in the future.
So if it's not possible for a young person to go back to their home,
Mhm.
what is the optimum? Then what would your goal be for that person?
So it depends on the youth and their abilities. Some youth we would get into transitional housing if we can. We operate two transitional homes. One is age 16 to 19, and then one is age 16 to 24. Both of those are full right now with waiting lists. Home-based housing also has some transitional housing programs that we can try to get our youth into if that's not an option for them, or maybe they're more independent and don't need that staff support. We have a prevention diversion worker, Mitchell, who will work with youth to find housing in the community. So either a bedroom in an apartment, a bedroom with some roommates, kind of depending on their situation.
So I understand that you teach them skills as well so that they can live independently. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we really try to focus on life skills for the youth so that when they are living on their own, they can be successful. We really want to prevent any return to homelessness. So some of the skills that we work on with the youth include laundry, cooking, cleaning, all of those kind of things, getting to appointments on their own, booking appointments, getting connected with social assistants or getting their identification if they don't have any. So it's really tough for them. Cooking and cleaning isn't necessarily something that's been a focus in their lives before. So we're just trying to help them develop those skills as much as we can.
So actually, even if they're going to be so much more useful either at home or if they end up with shared accommodation, so that they know how to do these things because it isn't. We're not born with that knowledge. We usually learn it from our moms, but if we haven't, then we have to learn it somewhere. And no, good for you for doing that. And I understand that it may not be a bed; it may just be meals. Is that something that some of them access?
Yeah, so we do primarily operate the emergency overnight shelter. However, we do have clients sometimes that come to the door and they're not looking to access a bed. So we will provide them with some snacks, with a meal if they need to. We will also connect them with other services, so Mitchell or Vivian if appropriate, other community agencies if they need to be connected. We will also provide them with any hygiene supplies, clothing if they come to the door. So most of the times, if they're coming to the door and they're not really looking for a bed, we usually know them. They've either accessed our services before or have stayed with us. So typically in those cases, we do know the youth, but we will provide them with services even if they're not looking to stay the night.
It sounds terrific, and I understand the United Way has played a big part in your success. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Absolutely. We would not be where we are today without the United Way. So we're just so grateful for their support. They actually are the sole funders of our family mediation program. The work Vivian does with clients and their families is possible because of the United Way. We also, one of our transitional homes at Elmwood is funded by Britt Smith and the United Way. He made an amazing donation through the United Way, which has allowed us to provide that transitional housing program for youth age 16 to 19. They also fund our other transitional housing program on Young Street, as well as contribute to the emergency shelter. So we would not, be able to offer the services that we do. They're so amazing. If we need extra things, they're always willing to accommodate. We just got some cell phones donated from the United Way through Bell. So we were able to provide youth with cell phones to connect with different services and mental health agencies if needed. So we're so grateful for their support.
Sounds terrific. Sounds like a good partnership, and it sounds like you're putting the money to good use. So thank you so much for being with us today, Emily.
Thank you so much, Donna.